Thank you all for sticking around this afternoon. We had some great conversations, and we're hoping to have another great one. It is my pleasure, an honor, a privilege, really, to have this conversation about the future with two gentlemen who know probably more about it than most. The fellow all the way to my right, to your left, does not need any introduction, Elon Musk. You all know from Tesla and SpaceX, of course, from Solar City. Sam Altman, I would say you don't need too much introduction either, but I'm going to give it to you just in case you don't. He runs Y Combinator. Y Combinator has investments in over 1,000 companies at this point. They're investing in about 250 companies every single year. Those companies collectively are worth about $65 billion in total. That's with a B. And to give you just a sort of a sense of the kind of names we're talking about Airbnb, Dropbox, Stripe, Zenefits, Instacart, et cetera. So both folks with an amazing pedigree and an amazing sense of what's going on. Here's where I want to start the conversation with both of you, and I think we're going to probably go to outer space very quickly. But we're going to try to keep it on Earth, at least for the moment. When you think about innovation, and you think about where we are going to be 10, 15, 20 years, and what to invest in and what to make, I'm going to make it hard for you, Elon. If you took Tesla out of it, took Solar City out of it, took SpaceX out of it, and you said, I could go start a new company tomorrow, it would be what? It would be in what area? Where would you start thinking about?
Well, I think there's some there's a fairly obvious opportunity in electric aircraft, because all transport will electrify over time, with the exception of rockets, ironically. Yeah. There's two areas which, they're fraught with issues, but it's one of those things where if you don't do something, maybe not doing something is worse, like on the AI front or on genetics, So those are the two things I think, besides sustainable transport, the internet, and making life multiplanetary, rewriting genetics and AI, the latter two are the ones that can most change destiny of humanity. But they're really dodgy. So maybe I'd try to do something in one of those two areas, but they're fraught with difficulty.
Elizabeth Holmes was here earlier, spoke during the lunch hour. Do you think about genetics and longevity and trying to sort of avoid, your friend Larry Page is investing in a business hoping to end death?
I don't, I'm not actually a huge proponent of longevity. I do think that having a good life for longer is better. Like you'd want to address the things that happen to you when you're older, like dementia and so forth. Those are pretty important. But I'm not sure I'd sort of actually want to do that. I want to get into the genetics thing, but it is something that's going to fundamentally change humanity and along with AI. So
you don't want to live forever so that you can actually get to Mars?
I definitely don't want to live forever.
How many years do you want to live?
I don't know, 100 good ones.
100 good ones or 100 more good ones? You're 44?
100 good ones in total, I think, is probably fine. Maybe a bit longer.
Sam, where would you put your money? You're the investor here.
Well, we try to invest in a very broad range of technology. So we funded an electric airplane, or funded an electric airplane company. We've done AI companies. We've done.
How realistic is the electric airplane, by the way?
I think it should work. I think it makes sense.
Yeah,
absolutely. The math should work. I think I no huge surprise, but I'll agree with Elon on those two areas. I think if you could pick two things that I'm not already working really hard on, AI, having AI go in the positive direction, which I really think it can, and I think thinking about sort of genetic technology.
Genetic technology. I made it unfair for you because I said we had to take Solar City out and we had to take the cars out, so we didn't get to really talk about energy. But I imagine, how big a thing do you think energy all in, and when you think about both your investments and what you're doing, is something that is one of the things that you need to tackle?
Well, I think sustainable energy is the most important problem that we face this century. That's like a known difficult thing that we have to solve. Like if we continue to rely on burning hydrocarbons, the future is going to be quite bad, and the vast majority of the scientific establishment believes that. And the evidence, I think, is, well, I mean, for anyone with a scientific background is unequivocal. So we've got to solve sustainable energy. I'm a big fan of solar because we've got this big fusion ball in the sky called the sun, and it shows up every day. So if we can use solar energy plus batteries, we can actually have a complete solution for sustainable energy generation, and then we need to use it in a sustainable way, which is where you need the electric transport.
The thing I would add, I think getting the cost of sustainable energy down super low is probably, short of friendly AI, like the most important thing we can do for sort of quality of life of the poorest half of the world. I think that every time I look into this, it's really amazing how much the cost of energy and the quality of life correlate.
What about nuclear energy? You have some investments in nuclear energy.
Yeah, I mean, what I've always said is I think the end state of the world is a combination of nuclear and solar, probably 80-20 one way or the other, sort of terrestrial-based nuclear. I think fusion is likely to work at some point in the next couple of decades, and that's a really big deal.